cable is jamming up. You see that? So it's jammed right there. Yeah, it's not retracting all the way. All right, welcome back. So today we're at the local hobby shop. Came by to test the first one I unboxed to see if the front brake was doing the same as what mine was doing. And as you see, it's binding up. So I'm gonna pull it apart and see if it had the same issue as mine, so that it confirms what's going on the inside. So with all that said, we're gonna get into that, pulling this front brake off, and see if it has the same issue. He was nice enough to let us pull this apart and take a look. So I'm very curious to see if this has the same corkscrew issue to where that thing is binding up on the inside. So it's just 2 bolts. We'll get the whole piston off and then we can work on it on the bench. And this time we're going to use some looks like water sandpaper probably. So 2 screws. That's going to get it off. It's going to be the pad. You can see that the inner pad, or the outer pad, has got way more wear than the inner pad, and that's probably because it's dragging a little bit. But you can have a floating disc or a floating caliper to always center it. They opted to do the floating disc. So we're going to pop this thing apart. I'm going to mark this piston. I'm going to pull the pads out first on this one.
Yeah, it was like, I freaking fell asleep like 7 o'clock last night.
So all you do is back this screw off. We're going to take the spring off so that it goes on the other side of this. Back this off, put the spring on the inside. Then we can go ahead and pull this.
Those tires sitting on the bench, and I was like, I looked down, I was like,
pad.
Well, the whole thing is like down up right next to me where I put all my paint. The toe scrub is behind all the paint, so it's like I pull all the paint out. But yeah,
spring and pad. The pads are almost nothing now. Interesting.
Stan's got married. He texted me last night. He's got his head screwed on sideways. He's like, I'm just gonna buy a 4-wheel drive short course truck. Well, they've got.
All right. I just want to see how much this piston is sticking out.
If not, too bad.
And it sticks right up in here. Is where it's sticking. So that's all the way down. So it barely sticks out. So we're going to pop this off, see if we can twist this with our fingers. This one's actually in better shape than mine was.
You got a killer deal on it. You got a killer deal on it, couldn't say no. So then he's like,
we need the screw. What I'm going to do is put the screw in here. Oh, let's get this yep, it binds up right there. So let me grab some sandpaper and I'll show you what's going on. Alright, so grab some wet, dry sandpaper, 1500. We're going to try sanding it down with that. Talking to the guy here, it looks like it's that what he's calling a mold line. So on both sides of this thing, there's actually a line on each side opposite from each other, like the molding, and it just wasn't cleaned up, so it's just binding a little bit. But it's got a white mark all in the section that it's rubbing. And we're going to try putting some, I don't know if they have dry lube or something like that, but we're going to go ahead and sand this. So I'm going to wrap the sandpaper around. Yeah, see, even with my fingers on it, really doesn't feel like it's round. See, now it's free and clear. No binding. Goes smooth in and out. No problem now. And this one wasn't as bad as mine. So definitely an issue. But it didn't take much on this one. Now it's nice and smooth. So I'm going to see if they have some dry lube or something we could stick in here. Maybe make it a little bit smoother. All right, welcome back. So here's another conclusion that putting minds together and figuring this out. That same line, that same mold line, if you look inside this groove, let me see if we can capture this. If you inside this groove, this corkscrew groove, that line, that mold line that's going across, there's a ridge right in that corkscrew area. So we're going to sand that down because it's got a rough spot every now and then of where that hits. Here's the beginning of the corkscrew right here. So let me see if we can get a light on this, so we can get a light in it so you guys can hopefully see. So right here there's a ridge and it's got a dead corner on it. So we're going to take a razor blade, your X-Acto knife, we're going to nip this corner off right here to make a smooth transition for that corkscrew, so that it doesn't bind on this edge in case dirt, sand, debris get in there. Nipping off this little corner, this little edge right here, just like that. Make sure that it's a smooth transition, just so it's not like a blunt area to where it could catch anything that's on the inner of the piston right here. So inside here where that line is at, you can feel there's a rough spot. So there's a mold line right there. There's a mold line right here. And you can feel right there, there's a rough spot, a rough spot, and a rough spot between these three. So what we want to do is we want to get rid of that. So we're going to take some sandpaper. We're just going to roll it around this edge. To get rid of any of those sanding burrs. And it's just 2 spots in here, but it sure does make for a sticky brake piston. So this is just going to be in a little bit more in depth. Yeah, see? Nice and smooth now. Yep, no more stickiness on that spot, even because there is a little play. And what you want to do is put pressure one direction and see if you feel a sticky spot, because that's what's going to happen, is that fork's not going to pull that little like pitman arm thing isn't going to pull evenly. So this is nice and smooth now, which is really good. So we just nipped off that little edge, and I'm going to try to get the X-Acto knife to show it. So right here where the transition, where it starts, we just nipped it at a 45 right there. See, the other side starts from nothing and goes in. This side where it ends was a blunt, and now it's cut at a little bit of a 45. So that's going to work out good. It's nice and smooth now. No more binding. But I am worried about these thickness of pads, because like I said, this is almost nothing on this pad now. I mean, overall, the whole thing is a pad. It's not like it has a piece of plastic. So I mean, there still is some thickness to it, but you can see how it's tapered, and it's not the same thickness. This is thin on this side and thicker over here. But it is what it is. And you got to make sure that the flat part of the pad goes, one side goes against the piston and the other flat side goes against the wall. So they do have to be put in, those pads have to be put in a certain way. Alright, now that we got this together, we're going to go ahead and get our pads put back in. So remember, the flat side of the pad goes against the piston, the other flat side of the pad goes towards the outer.
I told him, he was like, okay, if I don't figure anything else
Oh,
out.
I got to turn them around. So that goes in, that goes that way, and there is going to be a spring in between here.
The only thing is, like, if Jason wants to go, then they'll probably
So
if not, then I just,
that'll hold the pads in, but we got to get the spring in there.
it's open for you.
So can't really get that, I don't think, on camera, but I'll try. There we go.
Yeah, he said
And then our
they're
other
all
pad.
cleared out of the park, so I think he posted it or something.
And I'm just going to start that. And we got to take out this screw.
Yeah, and this Jimmy actually sort of posted about the Channel Highway. And so I was like,
Then I'm going to just back this off.
where's it going to be?
Then we're going to start to assemble it. So with this backed off, I'm going to go ahead and stick it in here. Just makes it easier. And we have to adjust it anyway.
You didn't put that in your post, but thanks for letting me know.
You know, it's like a day later or something like that on Instagram, they post the dirt's gonna be here. JRL.
No, the staple that I put in the end, I always lose it, don't matter where I'm at. I usually try to put it up so I don't lose it. And I think I had it.
There we go. Now we can screw this in to where it touches the brake. See how there's drag there? We're going to just take a little bit back so that it's free floating. And then we can put our dust boot on. And then we can put this on facing all the way down. But we got to get this cable in first. Get our screw in.
Oh, yeah.
And the reason I left the pad screw loose is so that I can clip in the spring.
Every single, on Saturday, every single race, both those wires popped off again. So, after the mains, I told them they just put it away. They come up here on Monday
And then clip in our spring.
and pull the motor out, pull the ESC out, pull everything out, rewire everything. So all new wire on it, and clean all the old solder off the motor, all that stuff.
There we go. And then we can screw this in.
Acid and everything in the terminals. And,
A lot better brake. And no more sticking.
I don't know how to help you.
Good to go. That's it. Little simple fix. No more binding. Snaps down nice and smooth. And we're good to go. And it's got great braking power. You can see that locks up now. Nice and free. That's it. Pick. I'm using a 0.050 on the MIP. And a little bit of sandpaper. Doesn't really matter the grade. Just going to let you know how much you're going to have to do sanding. If you get, you know, 1500, 800, something like that, might have to sand a little more than 400, but smaller the better, smoother the better is the way I look at it. But there we go. Hopefully this helps you guys. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll catch you guys on the next video. Thanks for watching.